Hello friends, welcome to Dezinlife. Friends, in the period of this corona crisis, today we'll be talking more about mid-size or smaller pharma companies. When I say the mid-size company, I mean the company who are there somewhere between 50 to 100 rank. And when I say smaller companies, I mean companies who are the 100 plus rank. In this corona crisis, these mid-size or smaller companies are much more bigger sufferer than the top 10 companies or top 50 companies comparatively. You can look at say data, the top company, they might have lost their business by 10%, 20%, but as compared to them, these companies has lost their business to the 40 to 60% also in certain cases. So loss overall in the corona crisis for the smaller mid-sized companies much bigger as compared to the top companies. See, problem with these smaller companies are they try to follow the bigger companies in the marketing as well as sales strategies. They feel whatever is working for them, it will work for them, for the smaller companies also. But problem is that a certain strategy which work for top 10 company, the same strategy may not going to work for the 50th rank company, or whatever working for 50th rank company, that may not work for 100th rank company or 150th rank company. And this non-acceptance of this fact is the blunder. And they feel that's how the industry operate, because that's how the so-and-so company is doing, that's how we also can do. And that's the reason, because of this reason, this mid-sized companies or a smaller company, they don't change their ways. If I go back before the corona crisis also, these companies were suffering before the corona crisis also. I'll share with you this February MAT data. Why I'm sharing February MAT data? Because March onward there is an impact of the corona. So let us not look at March onward data. Let us look at MAT data of February 20 as compared to MAT data of February 19. So one full year 12 month to 12 month comparison. Now let's look at this data. If you look at top 10 companies, in MAT 19, they were having market share of 42.93%, which this year increased to 43.33%, and their growth has gone up from 10.1% to 10.7%. So they are gainer consistently. Same will look at 11 to 25 companies. Their market share has increased from 27.15% to 27.32%, and their growth has increased from 9.1% to 10.4%. So they are also gainer even before corona also. And look at say 26 to 50th company, their market share has gone up from 13.23% to 13.43%, and their growth has increased from 10.7% to 11.4%. So all these three category companies, which is comparatively bigger company or the top companies, say top 50 companies, were the gainer, or they were the gaining even more in the pre-corona period. In the same period, when you look at say companies, when a mid-sized company from 51 to 100 rank, their market share has dropped down from 9.69% to 9.44%, and their growth has dropped down from 9.9% to the 6.9%, a significant drop in the growth. And when you look at say smaller companies, that is 100 plus rank, their market share has dropped from the 7% to the 6.48%, and their growth has dropped from 5.4% to 1.5%, again significant drop. So even pre-corona, these companies were losing market share consistently. So there is no wonder that post-corona or during the corona period, these companies are much bigger sufferer. So problem was something which was existing before corona. And how their problem is going to change post-corona, I am going to discuss that also. So these mid-sized companies or smaller companies, when you look at their modus operandi, they operate on three basic factors. One basic factor is this: these smaller companies, they spend more on their operation, or you can say their operations are more expensive, or they work on the comparatively lesser profitability. Because they spend more on the customer as compared to bigger companies, they end up spending more on the people per se. Not this they give them more salaries, but overall their people cost in their P&L expense are more as compared to bigger company. When you look at say percentage, they spend more on the distribution when you look at say percentage point of view, and for them COGS are more, GCs are less. So overall their you can say operations are more expensive as compared to bigger companies. That is how one modus operandi they find it. The second thing what they do, that they try to meet the customer too frequently. When bigger companies meeting one customer maybe once in a month or twice in a month, they tend up meeting maybe 2-3 times a month, 4 times a month, or sometimes even more also. And third factor in their modus operandi is they depend very, very heavily on the personal selling. The people who has got some relationship in the market, they try to hire that kind of people, and this is my doctor, this is your doctor, all those kind of things happen. So personal selling is one very dominant factor in their marketing mix. Now let us look at during corona pandemic, or you can say post corona pandemic, or say now onward, how these three factors are going to play out. Number one is customer is not likely to meet more often now. It's not only the next 3 months, it's, you can say, next 6 months or next even 1 year also. Which means your one strategy which was heavily depending on the meeting customer more frequently is not going to work the way it used to work earlier. Your another strategy was heavily depending on the personal selling. When customers are not meeting so frequently, so obviously personal selling effectiveness is going to reduce. And thirdly, when you're looking at making your operations more expensive, now already your operation cost has increased post corona, whether because of API increase, whether people cost increase, or whether it's a distribution cost increase, whether transportation cost increase. Overall your cost has already increased, which was already high, which means post corona pandemic, there you can say market share, they will further lose market share to the bigger companies. They lost heavily during the corona period. Or put it other way, now if you look at say beginning till February March, they were losing their market share. During corona period they lost more heavily, and now post corona also this loss is going to be further increase, which means these mid-size or smaller companies will have more difficult, more tough time. So these companies need to rethink on their strategy. They can't go to say with the same strategies or same Me Too strategy which bigger companies are going. When something is working for bigger companies, is not going to work for these companies. Doctor may be writing for bigger companies, but doctor need a reason for shifting to the smaller companies. Some differential or some customized strategy is required, and when these smaller companies does not give that, they also provide the Me Too approach. The customer has no reason to shift to them. They will keep on prescribing for those bigger companies or MNC they were writing. So it's a more of compulsion for these smaller or mid-sized companies to shift or to re-strategize themselves, so that they have more differential strategy, they have more, you can say, innovative strategy to survive. Otherwise their operating expense will keep on increasing and their operation will start becoming unviable for them. So I hope by this discussion today, these mid-size or these smaller company will rethink about them, and they will take a better decision to survive. Whatever decision which was pending, it is not because of corona, it was there pending already even before February also, but corona has pushed this decision. Now they have no option but to take this decision to survive. So let us do think about these mid-sized companies and smaller companies, and I hope they will come out with more flying color in the future. So friends, thank you very much for watching us today. Hope for the best.